Hello, my name is Ester COF, and I will be talking today on the extension of primary and secondary school hours in the United States. Many of you will frown or cringe at the idea of having longer school hours, but if you think about it, it can bring so many benefits to everyone. My main claim is that the longer day in primary and secondary schools benefits education. My main claim is that longer day in primary and secondary schools benefits education. Right now in the United States, only schools in New York, Colorado, Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Tennessee are having longer school days. The secondary or supporting claims of it are that one, the extra hours provide students with opportunities with enrichment programs and extracurricular activities. 2, longer school day produces better test scores. 3, extending school hours benefit working parents. My first supporting claim is the extra hours provides students with extracurricular activities and enrichment programs that can definitely help them build their dreams slowly and pursue it. It can also help students who need extra attention in specific subjects. Some teachers use the extra hours to form groups of students who need help on specific subjects. Clarence Edwards Middle School in Boston used the extra hours for elective courses ranging from Latin dance to fashion design. The school also put in the time into social studies and science blocks, and they made progress. Scholastic stated that the Clarence Edwards Middle School has reduced achievement gaps in English language arts and science by 80% and 66% respectively. That is more than half the students in the school. Michael Clow, a Sheridan superintendent, decided to extend the school hours at Fort Logan Elementary School after observing various schools in Massachusetts. He says, "We knew as we looked at the root causes of why our children were not succeeding that we just didn't have enough time in the school day. We needed additional time for remediation. In science, the arts, and other enrichment programs were being squeezed out to make room for interventions in math and reading." Principal Pantoa in School 46, one of the 5 Rochester schools in New York, which is part of a federal program that aims to lengthen the school day, surveyed students on this issue. The students actually supported the idea of having longer school hours, saying that time goes fast because of the enrichment programs. Teachers are getting trained to integrate more movements in their lesson plans, which pushes away boredom. The Boston Globe stated on Cuss Middle School's theater department that the once hit or miss drama program now regularly puts on major productions because of its longer hours. My second supporting claim is that longer school day produces better test scores. A nonprofit group, Massachusetts 2020, did a study on the relationship between test scores and longer school days and resulted in a positive link. They studied 8 schools that had longer days. Students scored 2 to 3% better on the Massachusetts Comprehensive Assessment System as Boston Public School students. In another case, 35% of 7th graders at the community-day charter schools, which had longer school days, were as proficient on the English language arts section as 10% of 7th graders at other public schools in Boston that have standard hours. In 1 year of having longer school days, the average proficiency rate scoring proficient or advanced on the Massachusetts Comprehensive Assessment System jumped 44% in math, 19% in science, 39% in English language arts. In Washington, D.C., several schools have shown major progresses on test scores, such as Malcolm X Elementary School jumped 13.1% in math and 20.2% in reading. C.W. Harris Elementary School improved in math of 11.9% and reading of 13.1%. The last supporting claim is that extending school benefits working parents. Adults in the United States nowadays are working more and longer. Bureau of Labor Statistics stated that the share of married couple families with children where both parents worked was 59%. It also stated that the average working hours full-time for adults with children is 8.8 hours. Standard schools have 6.5 hours in an average school day, which makes parents sign up for after-school programs or cares, or have the children wait at home alone. With extension of school hours, parents can work full-time without having to worry about their children waiting for their families in their homes alone or spending lots of money for after-school programs. Compared to having average 6.5 hours a day at school, having an 8-hour day can save after-school care for children with working parents. Overall, the extension of school hours is needed to improve education in the U.S. Thank you.
All right, Esther, I think you could use some of those examples for an attention device at the beginning of the speech, and instead of simply telling us what the topic was, that would make it a little bit more interesting. You did a very good job, though, identifying the main proposition, and you had an excellent layout of what the secondary points of the speech were going to be. In the body of the speech, you cite all of those points. I think the transitions could be a little bit smoother at times because it just sometimes feels like I'm done with this point, I'm moving to the next point, and it's like point 2, point 3, without really any transition language. So that could be a little bit smoother, but it was clearly cited during the presentation, and that's probably the most important element. On the supporting material, I think that you've got a lot of good examples, and each example has its own set of statistics. So there's a combination of statistical information that's going on here. Sometimes the statistics apply to a particular example, and sometimes they're a little bit more generalizable, and I thought that you did a pretty good job presenting them. There was one section where it seemed like there were 5 statistics that were being strung together in order to explain something, and it just got confusing. The follow-up information was a little bit clearer on the point when you're talking about math and reading achievement scores. I thought that was easier. You gave source citations on most of the material, and it all seemed relatively appropriate, although again, I can see that there might be a need to know a little bit more about the schools that you're talking about. For instance, are they all public schools that you're talking about? One point, you're making a reference to a charter school. I know that charter schools work a little bit differently, and that people who go to the charter schools are going to be a little bit different, so I'm not sure how generalizable that information would be. The more general the classes or the schools that are being referred to are, I think the safer it is for us to make inferences about the practicality of extending those hours, and that would have been a way maybe to add a little bit more generalizability to the speech. All right, thank you.